All right, guys, this is me doing your extra credit review, okay? Now, I have about 23 minutes to get through this, so, because the bell's gonna ring. So, I'm gonna go slow enough to try to get you to understand, but I also have to, finish before the bell rings. So just pause it and rewind it and that if it's not making sense because I'm going too fast. Okay, here's question 1. The first one says, is log base 3 of 12 divided by log base 3 of 6 the same as log base 3 of 2? Okay, well, when I look at it, I'm thinking the answer is no, because when you're dividing, like if you had log base 3 of 12 minus log, anyway, I could sit and manipulate these. What I would do personally, I would just stick it in my calculator because there are no variables anyway. Okay, so I would go like this. I'd go log 12, close it off, divided by log 3, close it off. Okay, I'd hit enter right there. Then I'm going to go divided by parenthesis, log 6, close it off, divided by log 3, close it off, close your parenthesis, hit enter, and that is equal to 1.38. Okay, so I'm going to see if the other side is also 1.38. So I'm just going to go log 2, close it off, divided by log 3, close it off, hit enter. I do not get 1.38, I get 0.631, and so that answer is false. That's how I would do that. Okay, the next one, f of x equals 0 is 1 to 1. So it's like almost question 1a and 1b, even though they didn't label it. F of x is the same thing as y, so that's y equals 0. So if I graphed y equals 0, it would look like that. Okay, let me just draw a solid line actually. It would be like that. And 1 to 1 means it passes the horizontal line test. But if I drew a horizontal line right there, it would pass it everywhere along that line. In order for it to be 1 to 1, a horizontal line can only hit it once. That hits it an infinite number of times. So that is false. Okay. Question 1c, find the domain. Okay, so remember I went through domain on that review video for, I think it was unit 1. If you have a square root, the inside must be greater than or equal to 0. Now, some people were trying to do that in their head. Do not do it in your head. It takes 2 seconds to write it down, and then you're going to get it right. So negative x must be greater than or equal to negative 2. X must be less than or equal to 2. They have it in interval form. That's negative infinity to a positive 2 with a bracket. That's what they have. So the answer is true. Okay. Question 2b. What is the difference in this sequence? Okay. Well, that's very simple. If they're looking for a difference, I know that arithmetic, 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, so my difference is 3. Okay, 2, that was 2a, here's 2b. The graph of the function, f of x equals 3x to the 5th plus 4x to the 2nd plus x, has at most how many turning points? Okay, so this is what we care about to determine turning points. It's the biggest exponent, which is a 5. Turning points is 5 minus 1, which is 4. Okay. Question C, the remainder of long division. So everybody go x plus 1. If it says long division, which it actually does not, but if it says long division, definitely do long division. Okay. So what do I multiply by x to get 2x to the 2nd? That's 2x. Distribute, I get 2x to the 2nd plus 2x. Change my signs. Those cancel. I get a negative 3x, bring down the 5. What do I multiply by x to get a negative 3x? That's a negative 3. Distribute, that's negative 3x minus 3. Change your signs. Those cancel, and you get an 8. So they're asking for remainder. The answer is 8. It is not 8 over x plus 1. If they ask you for the quotient, which they did not, that's the answer to this question. The quotient is the 2x minus 3. If they ask you for the result or maybe the answer, then it's 2x minus 3 plus 8 over 2x minus 3. Okay, here's question number 3. You need to identify immediately that this is a critical numbers type 2. If you cross multiply right now, you're not going to get any points for the problem. You have got to remember the steps for critical numbers type 2. So step number 1 is to get a 0 on the right hand side. So that would be 2 over x plus 2 minus 1 over x minus 1 is less than 0. Okay. Step number 2 is to get a common denominator. So all you do is just put those denominators together. Do not distribute that negative to that denominator. We're going to put the negative to the top. It's either top or bottom. Always do top. Okay. Don't forget your less than 0. This guy has the x plus 2. He's missing the x minus 1. Distribute, you get 2x minus 2. This guy has the x minus 1. He's missing the x plus 2. Distribute, and I get negative x minus 2. Then when I simplify, I get x minus 4 over x plus 2 times x minus 1. So step 1, get a 0. Step 2, get a common denominator. Step 3 is factor. The next step is to list your critical numbers. So from the top, you get a 4. From the bottom, you get a negative 2 and a positive 1. I don't have to worry about restrictions for this problem because I have no equal sign. So all my circles are going to be open anyway. So negative 2 over here, positive 1 right there, 4 is over here, all my circles are open. I have no even powers in this step right here. So my signs must alternate. If your signs are not alternating when you put this in, you're doing something wrong. So add parentheses around the top, add parentheses around the bottom. Okay, so everybody go negative 3, store, enter, parenthesis, membar, enter, minus 4, close it, divided by parenthesis, parenthesis, membar, enter, plus 2, close it, parenthesis, membar, enter, minus 1, close it, enter, and I get a negative. So I know it's going to be negative, positive, less than means negative. So that would be here and here are the negative regions. So my answer in interval form is negative infinity to negative 2 with the parenthesis, union 1 to 4, all with parentheses, done. Question number 4. This is your vertical asymptote, horizontal asymptote, situation. So the way that they have the problem formatted is the old way they used to format it. I'm going to do it the way that I want you to do it, and then we'll go back and kind of fill in what they're asking there. Just know that that is probably not going to be the formatting on your test. So the top is an x to the second. The bottom factors to x plus 1 times x minus 1. Okay, so I need to know my x-intercept, my y-intercept, my vertical asymptote, my non-vertical asymptote, and I need to know if it crosses. Okay, to find the x-intercept, you let y be 0, which is the same as letting the top be a 0. If I set x squared equal to 0, I get a 0. And since it's even, it's going to bounce. If 0, 0 is an x-intercept, it's also a y-intercept. Vertical asymptotes come from the bottom. The x plus 1 gives me x equals negative 1. The exponent's a 1, so I know it's odd. The x minus 1 gives me x equals 1. The exponent's 1, so it's odd. Non-vertical asymptote is either horizontal or an oblique. X squared over x squared, that gives me a 1. So I have a horizontal asymptote of y equals 1. That's biggest over biggest. Does it cross a non-vertical? I'm going to go 1 equals, that's the right side of the non-vertical, equals the right-hand side of the reduced equation. Cross multiply, x to second equals x to second minus 1. This x squared comes over and knocks that one out. 0 equals negative 1. No, it does not cross. Okay, now I'm going to graph it. So xy axis, you have an asymptote at negative 1 and one at positive 1. You also have a non-vertical asymptote at y equals 1. Okay, It's taking a second to switch over to red. I definitely want to do my asymptotes in red if I can. So I'm going to keep going for a second. I also know that it's going to hit 0, 0, and it's going to bounce when it does. Okay. Everything else is already filled in. So now I just need to put my asymptotes, and my pen's not changing. So I'm just going to, do my best. So there's an asymptote, and there's an asymptote. And there's an asymptote. I'm going to take that asymptote all the way across because I know it doesn't cross. Okay, you never can touch the horizontal asymptote. So the center has got to be down. It's got to be down, hit it, bounce, come immediately down like that. How do I know that? Because I can't touch that asymptote right there. If it was up and it came down right there, to get there I have to touch it. Look at the asymptote on the left. It's odd. If it's down on the right side of that asymptote, it's got to be up. Get close to that asymptote. Don't swing back out. This is down. It's got to be up. Some people are doing crazy stuff like this. That graph is not approaching that asymptote. Okay, so don't do that because then you're not showing that you really understand. So this is supposed to be like this. It's supposed to come down, and it's supposed to hit right there like that. So not that guy. That guy. Okay, that's it. So on this test, and I have seen on a separate question where they find the domain, they ask you to find the domain. So if you look at the original problem right here, you know the domain is x can't be 1 or -1. Find all the intercepts, we did that. The asymptotes, we did that. Does it cross? We did that, and then we graphed it. So we're good. I don't think they're going to guide you through like that, just so you know. Okay? Okay, question 5. Okay, here's number 5. So the form of the partial fraction decomposition is probably how they'll word it, is what? Okay, so it looks like that. So you have to have a fraction with an x plus 1. You have to have another fraction with an x squared plus 4. That's what my answer is going to look like. The x plus 1 is easy, it's an a. Since this is squared, added or subtracted, won't factor, that's bx plus c. Whoa, that's bx plus c. Okay, so, I'm trying to find what I just did. Okay, big long c. So that's what my answer is going to look like right here. Okay, so now what I have to do is I have to multiply all of those fractions by what the denominator would be, okay, which is x plus 1 times x squared plus 4 3 times, okay? My pen won't work right now, so you guys go ahead and fill yours in, and as soon as my pen starts working, I'll do it. Okay, now start canceling. So the x plus 1 on the left fraction cancels with the x plus 1, as does the x squared plus 4, and what you're left with is just a 1. On this, then put your equal sign, and then with the a, the x plus 1 cancels with the x plus 1, distribute the a, and you get ax squared plus 4a. It's just transitioning very slowly, I think, because my file is so big. No, it's not. Oh, yes, it is. Okay, multiply all of these, so sorry about the delay, by x plus 1 times x to the second plus 4. I'm changing colors and I don't care. Okay, so first fraction, x plus 1 cancels with x plus 1, x squared plus 4 cancels with x squared plus 4, you have a 1. Second fraction, x plus 1's cancel, Distribute the a, and I have ax squared plus 4a. Third fraction, x squared plus 4 cancels with x squared plus 4. And now what I have is x plus 1 times bx plus c, and I have to FOIL that. So that would give me bx squared plus cx plus bx plus c when I FOIL that out. Okay, now let's write down the squareds without the squareds. That's a plus b. On the right, there is no squared. Let's write the x's. There is no x on the left. On the right, with no x, c plus b. Now the constants, 1 equals 4a plus c. So a little challenging to solve this. The top equation has no c. The next equation has no a. The next equation has no b. So I'm going to eliminate the b's. And I'm lucky because the third equation already has no b. Now, if I take a negative and distribute it right there, then I'm going to have 0 equals negative a minus b. Write down the second equation, 0 equals c plus b. And then I've eliminated the b's again. So I have 0 equals negative a plus c. Now, I can eliminate the a's or the c's. I'm going to eliminate the c's because all I have to do is change the sign. And I get 0 equals a minus c. Those cancel. And I get 1 equals 5a, divide, a is 1/5, okay? So kind of strange to get a fraction, but nothing to panic about. Now I'm going to find b and c. So if I know that a is 1/5, I can come right there, and I go 1/5 plus b equals 0. So b must be negative 1/5. That goes right in front of the x. Now I have to find my c. I'm going to put it right there. So c plus b, that's minus 1/5 equals 0. That gives me c equals 1/5. Put a 1/5. There's your answer. Okay, and then store it and store a value, not a -1. Put it in the original. Put it in the answer. See if you get the same number to check it. Okay. Number 6. Assume that this is arithmetic. That should really be a plus. Right there. Doesn't really matter. Assume that it's arithmetic. Find the sum. Okay, so I know that it's arithmetic. The formula for sum that you must have memorized is S sub n is n divided by 2, a plus a sub n. Okay, so this right here, n is 1, n is 2, n is 3, n is 4. Oh, that is a minus, that's okay. Dot, 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 and n is, I don't know. As far as the difference goes, 7 minus 4 is 3. 3 minus 4 is a -1. Negative 1 minus 4 is a -5. So I know that my difference is -4. Okay? The problem is I don't know what n is. So the sum of I don't know how many terms is I don't know how many terms. A is the first term, which is a 7. A sub n is the last one, which is a -201. So that's a -201. Okay? Now I have to find my n. How do I find my n? I go to my other formula. So it's a sub n equals a plus d times n minus 1. A sub n is your last term. It's your nth term. A is your first term, which is a 7. Common difference is a -4 times n minus 1. Distribute 7 minus 4n plus 4 equals -201. -4n plus 11 equals -201. Move your 11 over. -4n equals -212 divided by a -4, and you get 53. Now I'm going to come over here, sum of the first 53 numbers. So I'm going to go 53 divided by 2 parentheses, 7 minus 201, close it. Hit enter, and I get -5,141. Okay, and my pen won't write again. So just know it's -5,141. Okay, question 7. Find the inverse. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. I'm not going to finish this. I'm like halfway through, but I don't want to re-record. So I think I'm going to just do 2 videos. Make sure you have the answer for number 6 written down, okay? It's negative 5,141. So I'm going to do questions 7 through 15 on a separate recording, hopefully with much less technical difficulties.